Hey yo, welcome back. This is Ty. Today I'm going to show you how to distort and put some grit in your vocals. Let's go. Alright, so everybody on YouTube be talking about crispy, clean, professional vocals. This is professional, but not everybody wants, Beyonce, Mariah Carey, like crispy, clean, polished. Sometimes you want some grit, sometimes you want some distortion, sometimes you want some edge to your track. Maybe that's what the beat's calling for. I got a track here today I'm going to show you I've been working on, and I'm going to show you how to put some distortion, some grit behind it. Let's go. Alright, so I'm going to just play basically part of the hook, and this is where we're sitting at the moment.
I've been so sedated, I've been stripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models.
So you tell there's definitely a lot of grit, some distortion. It still sounds clean, it still sounds legible, like you can understand what I'm saying. And, it's not just caked with mud. So I'm going to go ahead and turn everything off that it gave grit to and show you without it, and then we'll put it in one by one and show you what I did. Alright, so this is where we're sitting at the moment. Granted, through the presentation of my vocal take, I definitely have grit in my voice, but it's a hell of a lot cleaner than it was with all the plugins. So this is without.
I've been so sedated, I've been stripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models.
Alright, so step number one, and granted this already has a little bit of grit already pushing into the lead. So I used Waves Real Tune on this one instead of Antera's. Now, I think the Waves tune definitely has a lot more grit than your normal auto tune. So I like how that sounds. I got a correction at 96%. My note transition is at 0.1. The speed is 7.0, and I have it set to baritone. And then I have my key of the beat. So not too much to go into detail on that part. But then step number one here. Now, granted, if you want to kind of throw certain sections underwater, you could automate this, but it is a cool effect. I just thought it was too much to have across the whole thing.
I've been so sedated, I've been stripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models. I've been so sedated, I've been...
So maybe I'll throw that in somewhere on like a bridge or something like that. Alright, and a little secret sauce here for Pro Tools stock plugins. We got lo-fi, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the sound I'm getting comes from these plugins. So I got my distortion up 0.2, saturation 0.1. I dropped anti-aliasing down 94%, and then I got my sample size at 20, and then I'll show you one other thing here in a second. I also can put some flavor behind it. So this is without it again, then I'll add it in.
I've been so sedated, I've been stripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models.
So that's one step there. Now I will show you this real quick. If you want to maybe go like pitch down just a touch, you can drop the sample rate.
I've been so sedated, I've been stripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models. I've been so sedated, I've been sipping on the bottle.
So now you can get a little flavor from that. So that's step one there. I'll add that delay back in a little bit, because I think that is a big part of everything that I got going on here. And then step number two, in my saturation, I have my black box, but that's not really where I'm getting some distortion. I'm running the Saturn II, and I got a little bump up here in the mids. So let's see here real quick. One more time without it.
I've been so sedated, I've been stripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models. I've been so sedated, I've been sipping on the bottle.
So you're kind of getting like a little telephone effect, but it's not quite as harsh as just doing an EQ with that. So I'm liking how that sounds there. Added that in, basically a quick run through the first section here. Warm tape at 23.6%. That's level at 0. And then this mid section is a gentle transformer I have it 16.5%, and then I bumped it up 3 dB. And then my highs, warm tape, and that's at 32%, but really makes a big difference on that part. So now that we got a little bit of gain back, I will go ahead and throw in, I'll wait on that part. But then step after that, you know, I did go ahead and granted, everything's still on there the way it was, but my additive EQ, you know, I'm putting a little spice in there, a little bit of drive. You can do that on any EQ that you want to, but you know, you heard how that sounded. Didn't add a whole lot of extra grit, but it's a little gritty. And then this is a big part of what I got going on, the Devil-Loc from Sound Toys. And you can see here I'm not doing a whole lot. This is a very, very powerful plugin, and you know, with the crush I got at 2, the crunch at just under 2, darkness, I'll play with that here in a second, and then I got my mix at about 4. So I'll show you, and then I got it set to fast. So I'll play without it and add it in.
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models.
So it definitely adds some gain there. It just kind of adds everything as it goes. That's why I originally had to turn it down in my fader a little bit. But that is one thing that I would give flaw on this plugin. They don't have a volume knob or gain knob, so you kind of have to make adjustments in other spots. But there's a very unique sound that comes from this plugin. That's why I used it. So let's play with the dark knob real quick. So this is set at 0.
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models. I've been so sedated, I've been sipping on.
So you can see how it just kind of dulls it out in just a little bit, because I think at 0 it's a bit too harsh and it's just poking out a bit too much. But I'm really liking how that goes. Now, you know, you can, now I don't want to go through and necessarily break down my whole chain because I've done that in other videos, but if you're getting solid clean vocals, I would say add these plugins. Like you see here, that Devil-Loc is right at the end of my chain, and that really just kind of boom takes it to the next level of some crunch. So I don't think you necessarily have to make a whole new vocal chain just to kind of get this effect. You can work it off of what you already have. But then with my parallel compression, you can see here I'm running the MV2, little upward compression, some downward compression, and then I'm adding in, yet again, another lo-fi. I got this one bumped up 0.5, 0.1, didn't do anything up here. Let me play it without it real quick.
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models. I've been so sedated, I've been sipping on the bottle. Maybe I'm too high.
So you definitely see that little bit of punch that it gives there on that. Just kind of rounds it off. And you know, like with parallel compression, you're making that copy, so you're just kind of filtering in just a portion of that. So I got my fader for my parallel compression turned down to negative 19.3, and really liking how that sounds. Now with my delay, this just kind of adds some sauce across the board. I'm kind of running it kind of hot because I want it poking out in those certain sections, and you can see here that I have side chained some compression. That way it's ducking it. So let's go ahead and look at this here real quick. This was on my quarter note, and then I have some effects there too that I'll turn on here in just a second. But with the Echo Boy, you know, I got a quarter note, I got quite a bit of feedback, I got some low cut and some high cut, I got it set to telephone, and I got the saturation at about 50% and 100% wet. Alright, so let's go ahead and give it a listen.
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models.
So listen to what it sounds like if I turn off this R comp. It's going to be all over the place.
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly.
That ain't doing nobody no favors. So what I've done here is I've set it up as a side chain. That's why I got that other send up top. It's very easy to do. You just make a new send and then name it whatever you're wanting it to be and then assign it there. You know, you go down the bus, boom, 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 and there you go. So with that being said, I got a higher ratio here, and my goal, let me see, I'm probably gonna have to turn this all the way up just so you can hear it, but let's see. So when this is at 0 dB, you at least want to be hitting negative 12 dB. So this is probably going to be pushing more because I wanted it a little more clamped down, especially as loud as I have it through the send. But let's go ahead and take a look.
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models.
So you see how that's really clamping it down? Then the moment I stop rapping, stop singing, whatever, boom, it allows your delays to come through. You can do the same thing with your reverb. But I got a slower release here just because I am spitting a bit faster, and there is little gaps in there where it can kind of slip through, and I just wanted the release to be a bit slower so it would clamp just a bit longer. But yeah, that's about it on that part. And then just to kind of make some enhancements here, I added another EQ, and all I'm doing on this, you could do this on anyone, but I like the nice analog sound that you get from this one. Doing a little bump at 2K. So let's see how I add it in.
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models. I've been so sedated.
So it just adds a nice little presence to that. And then I added a metaflanger, which just giving it some movement.
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models. I've been so sedated, I've been sipping out the bottle. Maybe I'm too high, maybe it's too high.
Alright, let me make sure my delay is turned back down here. I can't remember what I had that at. Boom, there we go. Negative 6.8.
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models. I've been so sedated, I've been sipping out the bottle. Maybe I'm too high, maybe it's too high. I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models. I've been so sedated, I've been sipping out the bottle.
Alright, so now I've showed you how to do it. Let me show you how to control it, because there's certain things that you kind of have to maybe overdo a little bit just to make sure you get that distortion, but the clarity is still there, and some of the frequencies aren't just piercing your ears. You're not getting harshness, mud. So I'm running a Pro MB down here in my Allvox. I'm ducking a little bit. I got some compression going on at the just under 300 range, and then 8K and above. And you can see it's not working across the whole thing, but it's just really controlling some of those.
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly.
So without it real quick.
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models. I've been so sedated, I've been sipping out the bottle.
So you see how that still just kind of controls it. You're still getting that vibe, but it's still pleasing to the ear. Like that's, I think, a lot of, I know personally with me when I first started, I've always loved a good distorted sound. Like I'm a big Atlanta trap fan. I love Future, Thug, and you know there's certain songs that do. They have, especially Future, a lot of distortion, and you got to be careful with it because you go too far, you're gonna ruin your mix. So then another big important part for me is soothe. So without it,
I've been so sedated, I've been tripping out the molly. I've been so sedated, I've been fucking on the models.
so I typically never run soothe this hard, but I got it set at 100% mix, and then I got the depth up to 6.4 just to kind of control some of that harshness. Like I said, still make it pleasing to the ear. That way you can get some grunge and still sound good. But y'all, hope everybody enjoyed the video. Hope y'all learned something. Any questions, comments, concerns, hit me in the comments below. And I'm going to catch you next week. Peace.